Welcome to part 2 of this virtual garden tour. In this video, we'll pick up where we left off in part 1, exploring one of the garden areas at Duke Gardens, the Bloomquist Garden of Native Plants. If you haven't already seen part 1, we suggest pausing this video to go back and watch part 1 first. Otherwise, let's pick up right where we left off at the bird viewing shelter. As you may recall, we were enjoying the sight and sound of a Carolina chickadee, as well as this group of cardinals, a nuthatch, a red-bellied woodpecker, and an acrobatic squirrel.
As we make our way from the bird viewing shelter to our next stop, let's look for some of the plants that might catch our attention in different seasons. In the spring, look for the spectacular spidery blossoms of the orange flame azalea that are pollinated by butterflies, or the trillium with its 3 leaves that emerge from the forest floor before the trees above grow back their leaves and block the sunlight from reaching the ground.
In summer, keep a lookout for a tree with gigantic oval leaves fanning out from a central stem, almost like an umbrella. It's a big leaf magnolia, and it gets the prize for biggest leaves of any plant native to North America. What are leaves good for anyway? Well, leaves are a plant's solar collectors, gathering light rays from the sun that the plant is able to turn into energy for growth. That process is called photosynthesis, and one of the results of it is that the leaves release oxygen into the atmosphere, exactly what humans need to breathe.
In the fall, look for a bush that has fruits that look like strawberries or bursting hearts. Its scientific name is Euonymus americanus. But there are many common names for this plant, including strawberry bush, heartsabuston, or bursting heart. The bright purple beautyberries clumps are easy to spot in the fall and are great food for birds in the winter. And let's see what's happening with our big leaf magnolia in the fall. It is deciduous, which means it drops its enormous leaves as the length of daylight shortens and temperatures get cooler.
In the winter, the big leaf magnolia has bare branches, but another magnolia, the southern magnolia, is an evergreen tree. It keeps its green leaves all winter. Another winter plant to look for is witch hazel. It's a shrub or small tree that is deciduous, so it loses its leaves, but its flowers bloom in the winter and are quite eye-catching. Each flower has 4 slender petals that range in color from pale to dark yellow, orange, or red.
Now, we have made it to another ecosystem, the Piedmont Prairie. Look out over the open area in front of you. There are more than 20,000 individual plants that gardeners have planted here, and they represent about 100 different species of native wildflowers and grasses. They are planted densely to outcompete any weeds. There are 50 to 60 plants every 100 square feet. In the spring, these sun-loving plants in the prairie are tiny, just at the beginning of their lives. They will grow and grow under the summer sun, and by fall, these plants will be taller than you and full of life. From birds to bees to tree frogs to monarch butterflies to mice to dragonflies, the many species of plants here provide a variety of animals with what they need to survive, including pollinators, which fly from one plant to another, taking pollen with them from flower to flower. That will help get seeds started for the next generation of plants. The life cycle of some of these plants will end with winter's frost, but seeds will be waiting in the soil to sprout the following spring. Some of these plants are perennials, and the above ground parts will die, but the plants will remain alive underground, where it will wait for signs of spring to reappear.
Here are some close-ups of some of the wildflowers and grasses that grow in the prairie. Before Europeans came to North Carolina, there were many prairie grasslands like this across the state. Trees didn't grow tall because there were animals like bison, elk, and deer that browsed on the saplings, which are small trees. The indigenous people living here cared for the land with the help of fire, caused by lightning strikes or set on purpose and carefully controlled. This prairie ecosystem has mostly vanished from the landscape in the Piedmont. There are few natural grasslands remaining now because fire is prevented and those large mammals are mostly gone. Some of the indigenous people who managed Piedmont prairie ecosystems in our area include the Shakori, Eno, Saponi, and Occaneechi people. Today, North Carolina recognizes 8 native tribes who live throughout the state. Every few years, the North Carolina Forest Service, working with the gardeners of the Bloomquist, carefully fire up a controlled burn to help manage this prairie. Fire prevents some trees from growing, and it helps other plants to grow by cracking open their seeds. Here you can see images of the burn in process, 1 week afterward, and a few weeks afterward. What do you notice about this habitat?
Just beyond the prairie is the sunny pond. Often, turtles are stacked on the rocks and logs at the water's edge, or even on the leaves of water plants that grow around the pond's edge. They're enjoying the sun's warm rays. Beside the pond, we'll find a stone marker, a granite plate that marks the 36th parallel north, a line of latitude that circles the Earth 36 degrees north of the equator. If you trace this imaginary line around the world, it connects North Carolina with many places on the globe, including Greece, Turkey, Algeria, Iraq, Iran, Japan, Korea, and China.
Not long after you leave the sunny pond, you'll land on a wooden boardwalk with millstones set into it. You'll be in a swampy area, similar to some ecosystems in the coastal plain of North Carolina, and you'll notice some interestingly shaped plants growing nearby. Some of them look like tall tubes with a flap over the opening. Those are called pitcher plants. Another plant has leaves that look like they have eyelashes. These are Venus flytraps. Both of these are types of carnivorous plants, plants that eat meat. What kind of meat? Insects, snakes, roly-polies, spiders, or even lizards. Why do these plants do this? Well, the food that we eat gives us energy and nutrients that our bodies need. You might even take special vitamins. Well, plants need their vitamins and nutrients too. Plants use sunlight to make food, and most plants also get nutrients from the soil. Carnivorous plants use photosynthesis to make food from the sun's energy, like other plants, but they grow in places where the soil does not have all the nutrients they need. So they meet those needs by eating insects.
So, how do carnivorous plants eat insects? Pitcher plants, like the one pictured here, attract bugs with a sweet-smelling nectar at the opening and at the base of the funnel-shaped tube. Once a bug is inside, there is no escape. The way out of the pitcher plant's funnel is lined with slippery slides and tiny hairs pointing downward, trapping the bugs inside. The plant has a liquid similar to the digestive juices in your stomach that it uses to digest its trapped prey. Venus flytraps have sensors on their leaves. If a bug touches the sensor 2 times, the leaves snap shut, trapping the bug inside.
Just past the carnivorous plants, you'll come to the endangered plants garden, a home for plants that are rare and might easily become extinct without protection. Loss of habitat is the main reason many plants become endangered. Habitat can be lost when green areas are destroyed to build roads and shopping centers and developments. Pollution and climate change also affect habitats. Gardens like this help to protect the plants in a place where gardeners can care for them. Meanwhile, people are working to make more healthy, natural habitats available for plants, and scientists are researching ways to help these plants continue growing on their own outside of the garden. Look at the map on this sign from one of the plants in the endangered plants garden. Shinewitz is sunflower. The red dots are the only places this plant can be found growing without help from gardeners. There are only 10 known populations in North Carolina and 6 in South Carolina. Fire suppression is thought to be the main reason behind the decline of this sunflower.
We've come to the final section of this tour of the Bloomquist Garden of Native Plants, the Wildlife Garden. This area highlights many of the things a garden needs to support wildlife: food, shelter, water, air, and a place for them to raise their young. You might see pollinators, bees, beetles, flies, moths, and wasps feeding on the nectar from the flowers. Other insects here, like ladybugs and soldier beetles, may not be pollinators, but they eat harmful insects like mosquitoes. If it's fall, you might see berries and seeds, which are enjoyed by birds, turtles, and other animals. This garden also provides materials for nest building and shelter in rocks for animals that stay here over the winter. Here, the plants support the insects that support the plants, which support the birds, and gradually everything else up and down the food chain, including us.
We've rambled in the Bloomquist. Maybe at first it seemed just like woods full of green leaves. Now you know more about some of the plants in this garden area and the way plants are part of the habitat of many other living things. Find a place where you can observe some plants near you. Look for different shades of green and different leaf shapes. Look for some trees. What is similar and different about the trees around you? What does the texture of the bark feel like? Do you see or hear birds, insects, or other animals? What else can you observe that is interesting to you? Record some of your observations on paper with words or pictures and tell someone else about the things you observe. Keep on observing and enjoying time outside, and we hope to see you at Duke Gardens one day.